Nah, man. I don't want to live that life. I'm gonna shut you down. Greetings, everyone. I am glad to be here, and I am glad that you are here. Today, we are fulfilling a deck stipulation that was issued by Nanoflare, and it was a really, really fun deck. Admittedly, we played it a little bit on stream, and it did not live up to the latter expectations. Kind of got beat up on a little bit, but in fairness, whenever you do a deck stipulation, you gotta accept that maybe it might not be as exciting. But it was a lot of fun. We did pull off some nonsense, so I figured what the heck, we'll make a YouTube video of it as well for our Nanoflare friend, because I'm not sure they were able to stop into the stream while we were doing it, so what the heck, put it up for posterity, why don't we? This is all new gameplay, so if you did watch the stream, don't worry. These are brand new games, fear not. That said, what are we trying to do today? Well, Demonic Pact, 4 mana. 1 of 4 modes. Deal 4 damage anywhere, gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards. You draw 2 cards. You lose the game. So all of these things are great right up until the very last one, which is quite bad, right? Okay, so the idea is we do all of those things, and then we donate it using Harmless Offering. Target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. We donate it to them, and then they are forced to choose the final mode, because you can only choose one that has not been chosen. They are forced to choose the you lose the game mode, right? Then how else are we trying to win? No, that's it. We're all in on the combo. This is it. We're doing the thing. But there are situations where we might have to run out the Demonic Pact early. So we've got other ways of getting rid of the Demonic Pact. Rite of Oblivion gives us a removal spell, but in addition, as an additional cost to use it, we've got to sacrifice an on-land permanent. Okay, so we can sacrifice our Demonic Pact if we need to, right? Similarly, we're a Doom Foretold deck. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an on-land non-token permanent. If they can't, we do the thing, right? So we can sacrifice our Demonic Pact should we need to, or we just sacrifice Doom Foretold if we choose not to, right? Then there's some other things. Oath of Kaya's, deal some damage, gain some life. Trial of Ambition, force our opponent to sacrifice things. Treacherous Blessing to draw cards, but also all of these things leave something behind that we can then sacrifice to either Doom Foretold, Rite of Oblivion, or just, you know, have on the board waiting for those things to happen. And then hopefully we're going to be able to kill our opponent with Demonic Pact. As far as the other things, a little interaction with Bonecrusher Giant, Doomskar, and some graveyard interaction for Soul-Guide Lantern. So, let's see if we're going to win some games, shall we? Alright, folks, here we are up against DPale90. Good luck, DPale90. Yep, this hand looks fine. We've got some Godless Shrine action, a little, start things off, but some Sacred Foundry and Plains action to follow it up. Little card draw, little interaction. Not so terrible. Opponent starts on a mountain. Alright, well. Fine. Opponent goes to the swamp. Oni Cult Anvil. Right. But no 1-drop for the Oni Cult Anvil deck, which is, of course, definitely where they want to be normally. So, feeling pretty fortunate about our luck so far. We do decide, well, this is kind of a good opportunity to just slam this Treacherous Blessing, make sure we keep hitting our land drops, because we don't want to miss land drops, right? But we've also got our Demonic Pacts in hand already. All we need to do is get a hold of our Harmless Offering and wait a couple of turns. Well, shoot. We do get a land, which is good. We did not get a Harmless Offering, but we did draw another Demonic Pact. Good heavens. So, okay, well. Opponent goes with the Sokenzen Smelter. Well, that's not great. Opponent does decide to sacrifice the Oni Cult Anvil, which isn't too terrible. But they're going to crash in for 3. And they have a rather robust board presence just out of nowhere. That is not what I expected, folks. Okay, well. Trying to decide how to go about it. We end up going with Oath of Kaya on the Sokenzen Smelter because we're just afraid they'll just run us over if we allow it to stay, right? As it is, our opponent's still going to crash in here for 4 without any help, and that's kind of a lot, but, you know, we're managing things. If they do anything too crazy, we can Doomskar. If not, we've got Rite of Oblivion, you know, and getting rid of the Treacherous Blessing, not a cost. That's a benefit, right? Opponent goes with a second Oni Cult Anvil. Deadly disputes away the 1/1 to create a new 1/1. Doesn't attack first, though, which is great. So it saves us a point of damage there. Appreciate it, Dpale 90. They crash in for 3. We drop to 16. And they pass the turn. Interesting. Well, this is an awkward situation. But, like, the Oni Cult Anvil is pretty threatening. And, oop, almost selected the wrong one there. That would be not great. So just getting it out of the way is good here. Wow, they could have sacrificed a treasure there to drain us a little bit. They elected not to. They don't get the 1/1 because that only happens on your turn. Oh my goodness, it's another Oni Cult Anvil. Jeez. Okay, that's 3. That said, they've still got that 4 power on board, and we weren't overly thrilled about the... Oh my goodness, another Sokensen Smelter. Well, shoot. The 3/1, or the 1/1 with Summoning Sickness goes away in favor of a 3/1 with Haste. Take a bunch of damage, down to 9. Oni Cult Anvil not going to miss the opportunity to activate this time, though, because there's no reason to have it stay on board. We slam a Maze Mind Tome and pass turn. Of course, we're hoping to be able to gain some life here in the not-too-distant future, and we need to find our stinking Harmless Offering, folks. Really, really a little sad we haven't seen it just yet. Shadow Torch Defiance coming on down. Reading our stuff. Thinking, considering, contemplating, doing all those things, right? And goes up for mana. Interesting. Want to see what they cast before we scry. Deadly Disputes away their Oni Cult Anvil. That is 3 Oni Cult Anvils that have met a sticky end. And a treasure and a Haunted Ridge with a mana floating. 3 mana available. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Trying to decide how to go about this. You know, it's a little awkward. But we do decide we want to keep the land. Because we want to be able to do multiple things in a turn. And we're currently trying to decide if it's Treacherous Blessing or Maze Mind Tome. I elect to just go with Maze Mind Tome instead. But looking back on it, it was probably just better to draw all the cards there. Of course, in my mind, getting the Maze Mind Tome closer to its gaining life was good, and I wanted to be able to draw the cards from it because I want that raw card advantage. But the reality of the situation is I don't think that was going to happen either way. Doom Foretold. I mean, it is an answer. Oop, gotta go all the way to the main there. And sure enough, Doom Foretold show up. Not looking overly good here at 5 life, but as long as we can survive, we can get a little more life with the Maze Mind Tome, right? So, Treacherous Blessing, do your ditty, draws us more cards. It is not yet a Harmless Offering. What is it with this combo, folks? What is it with this combo that just won't let us get both pieces together? It happened a lot on the stream when we were playing, and darn it, here we are again. You know, if you're a cat in an oven, you can't play them without them being together. If, you know, you've got your Parhelion and Greasefang, you can't help but have them together. We've drawn a lot of cards and just can't find it for some reason. Little tilting there, but it is what it is. Doom Foretold made them get rid of the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. We get rid of our own Treacherous Blessing. Oath of Kaya, come on down. We're going to go from 2 to 5. And Demonic Pact. The time has come. We can't keep fooling around like this. We've got to try and find... You know, it can't be long, folks. Good heavens, it can't be long. Opponent has no non-land permanents to sacrifice. Non-token, non-land. So we get to gain a couple more life. Make a 2/2. Opponent has a Shadow Torch Defiance. All right. Well, what do you do with it, opponent? Goes up. Gonna cast it. No, just damage. We dropped 5. And just going to draw the card with Maze Mind Tome rather than Scry because we got the mana open and our opponent's doing stone nothing. Opponent going to maintain that priority as long as possible. Gain our life, draw our card. And they used Heartless Act on our creature. All right. Somehow still not the Harmless Offering. 36 cards remain in library. Thank heavens, though, our opponent scoops. I am confident we would have seen it soon, but geez. That was a little scary. All right, folks, here we are up against Carlos X. Good luck, Carlos X. Gonna plan on starting on Godless Shrine here, unless something tragic happens here. Opponent doing their thing. The Soul Guide Lantern, pretty important in the Greasefang matchup, so we're not too depressed about having that in our hand. The Treacherous Blessing, Doom Foretold, very, very good combo here, you know, just even if it ends up being kind of 1-for-1 style removal, the Doom Foretold, you make him discard when it goes off, and having the Treacherous Blessing means we're getting rid of something that already drew us a bunch of cards. It feels really, really good when that starts going off, so we're going to keep it. It's fine. Carlos X. Sulfur Falls on 1 into Temple Garden. We were not expecting that. And Lotus Cobra. All right, fine. Okay, here's a Harmless Offering. Nice of you to show up. Only 1 game too late. But, you know, is what it is. We got the win last game anyway, so I can't really complain. But it was scary, you know, making us wait. So we draw some cards, couple of Trial of Ambitions, Rite of Oblivion, Doom Foretold, Harmless Offering in hand, couple of lands as well, Blood Crypt and Shattered Sanctum. Our opponent on 5 cards in hand. Lotus Cobra on the battlefield. We could have tried to go for that, but it did feel like, depending on what they do, Doom Foretold might be a good option. And, you know, if we just make them get rid of all their creatures before we Doom Foretold, then it kind of doesn't end up doing much, you know? So we would like it to do much, right? Obviously. Omnath, Locust of Creation, comes down, draws a card. Okay, well, interesting. We elect to Trial of Ambition. Pay a life to do it. Opponent does sacrifice the Lotus Cobra. We Trial of Ambition again. Why not Rite of Oblivion? Well, because we were afraid they might do something that we needed to exile, as opposed to whatever. We were also afraid there might be, you know, some tokens and things that show up, and these sacrifice effects might get worse. So I paid the life as a concession to the fact that Rite of Oblivion is at least targeted removal against those things. It's also true that, okay, yeah, sure enough, Fairy Master Time comes down, as does Chandra. We're a little bit vindicated there because, of course, the Trial of Ambition also doesn't get Planeswalkers. And we know these decks sometimes do have Planeswalker-y style things. So we pay another life, but this time to get down Doom Foretold. Our opponent has Fairy Master Time down, it's done a little looting already, did a little more looting on our turn, does some more looting now. But they are likely going to be sacrificing it, unless, of course, they have a flash creature or something where they could, you know, protect it for a turn. Go check the bin. They've gotten rid of an Azusa Lost But Seeking. And of course, the Chandra as well. 4 cards remain in hand. Opponent looking for mana, I assume. They've got to have found it by now. Lotus Cobra. And sure enough, it is a Sulfur Falls. They add a blue and let the turn go by. All right, we could have gotten rid of the graveyard here, but we really want to find our Demonic Pact. So we just cash in our thing. Doom Foretold takes care of the Lotus Cobra. Opponent 3 cards in hand. Escape to the Wilds. Good heavens. All right. Man, that is a grip just chock full of magic cards. Some lands, some Azusa, Another escape. All right. Things are about to get interesting. We cycle away a Savai Triome because we need that stinking Demonic Pact. And what the heck, man? We just cannot get Demonic Pact and Harmless Offering in the same hand at the same time. Bit frustrating, but it is what it is. All right. Doom Foretold goes away. Opponent gets rid of a Fabled Passage. There are cards to be cast on Carlos's side. All right. We know that much. Genesis Ultimatum. Well, cross your fingers, folks. Hold on just a darn minute. Genesis Ultimatum goes off. That is 5 lands straight off the top of the deck. Oh, my word. Admittedly, like, I'm sure our opponent is heavily indexed toward lands. You don't play Azusa Lost but Seeking and Escape to the Wilds without indexing towards those. They also have, apparently, Felidar Retreat as a primary win condition. They also have additional land drops, Dryad of the Elysian Grove. But I'm just saying, like, I'm sure the 5 land thing wasn't quite what they were hoping for. Pop down a Breeding Pool, pass the turn. All right, well, let's go to combat. Yet another turn where we cannot Demonic Pact. Ay, ay, ay. All right, I guess we'll foretell and pass? We're expecting an Ugin Spirit Dragon here, but it doesn't really do that much outside of start ticking up. So we're pretty convinced it's going to be Felidar Retreat, Ugin, just plus on our creature, make some land drops, do some stuff. At least that's what it looks like here. You know, they could have whatever in their hand, Ulamogs or who knows what. But from the cards we see, they are good, right? Opponent taking their time, thinking through this turn. They recognize that this is a very important turn. They're at 8 life. They have really powerful options, and they're going to need to do those things. All right, so Felidar Retreat does come down. Unsurprising. Followed by Dryad of the Elysian Grove. That's a little bit surprising. And Growth Spiral for a land in a play. Felidar Retreat does its thing. And another land, Felidar Retreat does its thing. And another land, Shocked In, down to 6. And sure enough, Ugin, good heavens, folks. Turns out their entire grip was just a bunch of lands, which, again, annoying, but none of this is unexpected. So, is what it is. Rite of Oblivion, sacrifice Trial of Ambition. Trial of Ambition, make them sacrifice a creature. Rite of Oblivion, get rid of their Felidar Retreat. Alright. And opponent has another Genesis Ultimatum on the top. Oh my goodness. They get another Eugene. Good heavens. Opponent escapes to the wilds. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Growth Spiral, Growth Spiral, Growth Spiral. Escape to the wilds. Stomping Ground. It's an escape to the wilds. They now have about 35 land drops. What do they do? Growth Spiral. Adds a card to hand. Okay, well, fine. Tap land. Shocks in the land. Untap land. And Lotus Cobras. Shocks in the land. Wait a minute. Oh no, opponent. Crashes in for 6. Oath of Kaya? Opponent. GG, opponent, GG. Alright, folks. TCO Nightwolf is our opponent. Goes with Tranquil Grove tapped. Gains life. We go with Savai Triome, and Hive of the Eye Tyrant is the plan. They go with another Tranquil Grove, and Loyal Peg. Hey! It's a budget deck, folks. We have a budget deck very similar to this one on my YouTube channel, or hashtag shameless plug. They go with Guildgate, and then Loyal Pegasus, Healer Sock. We Doomskar, because we are soulless individuals, and our opponent's just trying to get their daily win, and we're like, nah, man. I don't want to live that life. I'm gonna shut you down. This is for YouTube, you know? I will attempt to recover from all of the guilt associated with this match later on. But for now, our opponent is debating on how to deploy their hand. 4 cards remain in their grip, and debating what order in which to deploy them. They elect to hold on, presumably because they're going to counterspell something. We go with a land, an untapped land, because we wanted to represent things we don't even actually have. We wanted to... Interesting. We were going to... Okay. Spectral Sailor. Well, darn it. We're kind of planning on... cycling away the Savai Triome, you know, trying to find additional action here, things like that. But they did build a board much more quickly than we were expecting, because we weren't really expecting the several flash threats. Turns out it's okay, because we have Trial of Ambition and Oath of Kaya to handle a pair of them. We go back up to 17, which is a really, really safe threshold to be at. Opponent goes with Farrier Miscreant. Fairy Guide Mother. We drop back to 14. Not thrilled about that, but, you know, why bother being good at the game, folks, when you can just draw whatever you need? Doing a little debating there about how to go about this, and we decide cycling the Savai Triome probably the thing that's most important here. Given the context of the situation, they're just not developing their board quickly enough for us to worry about having to Doom Foretold or something like that. So we're just planning on sweep whatever remains with the Doomskar next turn. Feel a little guilty about it, because this poor individual clearly running a budget deck, folks. These are all commons and uncommons so far. We haven't seen a single rare. And Maze Mind Tome comes down. Plains joins the party. 5 mana. Inconvenient. Soul Guide Lantern goes away. We draw a card. And it adds to our hand. It's a Treacherous Blessing. And somehow, yet again, we do not have our combo assembled. I am sad about that. But it is what it is. We're going to draw some cards, hope to find our combo. We do not find our combo. So we're going to plan on Maze Mind Toming until we do. Opponent. Presumably still sitting on a counterspell. That's kind of what we're thinking here. Okay, well, they do show us a very powerful rare, actually. That Skycat Sovereign is the truth. Fear not. So we're going to draw a card. It's a touch awkward for them, because we have about 340 cards in hand. And oh my goodness, yes! It's Demonic Pact. Don't mind if I do. A little bit overexcited there. Go straight for it. We drop to 10. We aren't going to mess around. The Skycat Sovereign can get out of hand in a hurry, so we just Oath of Kaya it. Yeah, we could have waited around, done some things, planned on, like, Doom Foretolding, stuff like that, but no. None of that. It's Demonic Pact time. We are pacting. This is the thing. We're trying to do the thing. We've been trying to do this thing all this time, and our deck just continually betraying us. And it is what it is. All right, so while our opponent still got some cards in hand, we're going to Demonic Pact, make them discard 2. Opponent had a negate and a Rally of Wings. Oh, so they were planning on negating our Harmless Offering. A clever plan, opponent, a clever plan. They probably just weren't considering that we would go to make the discard first. Most people want to draw cards with the Demonic Pact first, so don't blame them, but it is what it is. We kill our creature. Folks, it's all coming up us. We just had to find a budget deck to do it. All right, we draw the cards. Harmless Offering. Target them. Target our Demonic Pact. Lose a little life. I mean, sure, discard a card. Opponent must choose. You lose the game. GG, Nightwolf. GG. All right, folks, we are back. We are back. And, boy, I really don't know what's going on there with those games. Honestly, this is wild. I'm going to level with you. It did not do as well on the stream. So there's that. I know we got kind of fortunate with the one person kind of scooping pretty early. But I have to believe we did have the game entirely in hand. I do have to believe the Harmless Offering is going to show up relatively soon because there were 4 of them. And we were down to like the bottom half of our library. Going to be drawing cards, stuff like that, you know. So it is what it is. But, you know, in the interest of full disclosure, I played 4 total games for this YouTube video. I showed you 3 of them. The only other one I didn't show you was a loss, but I'm not trying to conceal it. It was just that literally nothing happened. We were in a staring match. They were playing Abzan ramped. So it was literally land, go, land, go, land, go, land, go, land, go, land, go. And we were assembling the combo. We had half of the pieces, and just nothing was happening. So, like, we interact with the board. We don't interact with their hand. There wasn't much we could do. Yeah, what are we going to do? Just run out a Doom Foretold or whatever? So it was literally just back and forth, literally. And I mean this not in the figuratively sense, but in the literal sense. Nothing happened. And then it was late in the game. They found a couple of cultivates and a... whatever the new one is, where you can, out of, that's essentially a cultivate out of Midnight Hunt. You go find another land. And then they just, in the same turn, go Vorinclex, 5-mana Kaya, ultimate 5-mana Kaya. And I scooped. Because we can't beat it, right? There's no, like, we weren't able to get any of our stuff together. And they had Vorinclex on the board. And yeah, I mean, so that was literally the entire game. That's not very good content. And I'm being very upfront and honest with you about it because I'm not trying to mislead anybody about the win rate or anything. And I'm being fully honest. In the actual stream, the deck did pretty poor. But I'm also not going to lie to you. In the games we played today, I played 4. We won 3 of the 4. So there you go. There you go. Whatever it is. How might I build this deck to be a little less memey? Obviously, this deck is all in on the meme. Our only win condition really is Demonic Pact. Yes, we have some Bonecrusher beats potentially, and a little bit of Hive of the Eye Tyrant or Castle Ardenvale, but these aren't realistic win conditions. This is somehow our opponent, like, shocked, Thoughtseize, and they're at, like, 8 or something, you know? And then, well, I guess we'll kill you, you know, over the course of 2 turns or something. But that isn't a plan for us. We do have Oath of Kayas, so yeah, if they do like shock even, and they're at 14, and we just have a weird hand that's like Bonecrusher and 2 Oath of Kayas, we could Kaya their face, they're at 8, Bonecrusher their face, they're at 6, cast the Bonecrusher and attack twice or something. So it is possible. It's just very unlikely. This is not the plan, right? We're not, you know, doing that. So if you wanted this to be a little less memey, we should have a backup plan. And so how would we go about that? Well, just having creatures that beat down and stuff would be a start. So it could be anything from Ravenous Chupacabra to, you know, one of the gods that when it dies, it comes back things or something like that. You know, it could be anything that's just a recursive, nasty threat. I think the more likely scenario is we should be running Chandra. I run them often because, first of all, they are very good. But I also try and get them into decks so that you folks can, like, spend your wild cards properly and stuff like that, right? So in this case, I do think Chandra Torch Defiance specifically, whether you go for more Chandras or not is entirely up to you, but Chandra Torch Defiance specifically, very, very strong here. It helps us see more cards to get down our combo. It also adds mana for situations where we want to be able to multi-spell on a turn. It is a removal spell, so it fits in with the theme where just about everything is removal. And it can ultimate to actually win the game if our opponent's doing nothing and we're doing nothing. Like in that one game that I was talking about, the one of the 4 that we lost, and I didn't show you because literally nothing happened. We had just been able to tick up Chandra, tick up Chandra, tick up Chandra, win the game? Yeah. Okay. Well, we win instead of lose, right? So this being an alternate win condition, very, very strong. I would have the full 4 in here if we weren't all in on the meme. What I was concerned about with putting these in originally was that it would stop being a Demonic Pact stipulation, and it would start being a remove everything until Chandra ultimate stipulation, right? Because as it was, we just didn't see the combo often enough. But I think this card literally does everything we want it to do, or we want to do in this entire deck. So specifically this one, I would say 4 of. What do you cut for 4 of these? Stick your hand in the bag, pull out 4 cards. It doesn't matter. The deck got better, right? You know, I would not pull either Harmless Offering or Demonic Pact if you want that to be a combo, but you could even theoretically put these over the Harmless Offering and just say, okay, we're no longer a combo deck, we're a Chandra deck, and we're doing all these things, and we're relying on Demonic Pact to be removed by Doom Foretold, Rite of Oblivion, and you'll be fine the vast majority of the time. You're not going to die to Demonic Pact ever with these cards, right? Admittedly, the point of the deck, though, forcing your opponent to lose the game on their own. So there's that. In addition to the Chandra Torch Defiance, you could consider any of the other ones as well. Specifically, like, Chandra Awakened Inferno, because of the emblems. This deck is moving very, very, very slowly. The problem is actually ending the game. She will tick up and end the game. She is also a sweeper. She is also removal when you're down, you know, minus. So this could be, you know, a Chandra Tribal adjacent thing. You might consider that as well. Again, just generically strong cards that are doing the thing. This one, less important, though. If you were going to choose to craft wild cards, 100% Chandra Torch Defiance, this is the one. This does everything we want, right? This is the one. But then, other than that, you know, you might decide to just forfeit the matchup to Parhelion because we're just never going to be very good in there. Get rid of these Soul Guide Lanterns and make space in the deck, sort of thing, you know? If you did that, there would be a lot of room for other things. You could also just go more all in and go like Rest in Peace, right? Say, forget Soul Guide Lantern. Let's Rest in Peace, and you won't be able to cast the Rite of Oblivions twice, but you can sacrifice Rest in Peace to Rite of Oblivion, and then Rite of Oblivion will be the first card that goes to the bin. So in matchups where Rest in Peace doesn't matter, okay, you just sacrifice it. So it's not a big deal. And the rest of our deck doesn't care about the graveyard anyway. So this is really not a bad place for Rest in Peace. So you could go more all in for the graveyard hate. It just doesn't replace itself. So you could either say, yeah, forget Parhelion, we just lose, and that's fine, and just cut all the graveyard hate together, or you could be like, you know what? No, screw Parhelion. We're going all in against Parhelion and go Rest in Peace. And you know what? Also fine, you'll get them, right? As far as other cards you might do, you might consider other things that are also win condition adjacent. So like Wandering Emperor is another really good one. If we're sweeping the board and keeping the board clean, all kind of thing, Planeswalkers play very well. So like the Wandering Emperor being able to make Samurais just gives us some board presence. There are some times where a 2/2 would be just as good as using one of our removal spells, where we just block, right? But then we can also return and attack. It gives us an alternate win condition. Being able to exile tapped creatures and stuff, gain some life, very good in like mono red style matchups, things like that. But this can also be a thing where we, you know, maybe on our turn, or on their turn, come down, exile a tapped creature, then on our turn, sacrifice the Wandering Emperor to Doom Foretold because they didn't see it coming. Doom Foretold stays on the battlefield, they have to sacrifice another thing, and it just kind of messes them up because it has flash, you know, generically good. Definitely worth considering. Another one of the cards that you might consider is right here, Yadara the Wandering Monster, because it cycles. So early in the game, we're just cycling it away when we're doing nothing, doing nothing, doing nothing. It helps us find our combo, whatever. But then later on, it is an 8/8 Trample Haste that we might be able to get for 2 after we cycle enough times, because we are seeing quite a few cards. So definitely all things you might consider. I wouldn't do this if you're running the Rest in Peace plan, though. That's a non-build. Don't do that. So all those things considered, it was a fun deck. I don't regret playing it. Like I say, your mileage may vary, because on the YouTube, it did great. On the stream, it did poorly. So, you know, proceed with caution, but proceed because it is a great time. That said, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all next time.